Usain Bolt compete as a sprinter in the American women's Olympic team?
Yes.
Okay. You would let Floyd Mayweather compete as a boxer in the women's American boxing team?
Yeah,
you are a
you have to be
complete
like the
and utter
heavyweight.
lunatic.
Piers Morgan, one of the most recognizable media figures, has had it with woke culture. Lately, he's been relentlessly calling out the woke media across interviews and podcasts. In this video, we break down the moments where Piers Morgan dismantled woke culture with ruthless verbal takedowns on live TV.
The rainbow flag has been hoisted over London's Regent Street in place of Union Jack and draped from the White House balcony in place of a star-spangled banner, which has sparked quite a backlash in the States. Have we gone rainbow crazy, or is Pride Month more important than patriotism?
Piers makes his stance crystal clear against the aggressive, over-the-top tactics of the LGBTQ movement, and he doesn't hold back in letting everyone know exactly where he stands.
I'm not triggered by a rainbow flag. I'm triggered by the fact that everywhere I go for a calendar month, everything has to be a rainbow flag.
Piers's frustration stems from watching mainstream media crumble under woke antics, and his host wasn't having it either.
Well, I'm triggered that everywhere I go for the entire year, everything has to be straight. Why is straight
Where's
everywhere?
my straight flag?
Why am I constantly
Where
getting
is
straight
my
people?
straight flag?
Why are straight people holding hands in the
When
street?
have you ever seen a straight flag?
Why has Mickey Mouse got a
Tell
girlfriend?
me one straight flag
Why
hanging
are you
right now
pushing-
anywhere in the world.
Why are straight people
Where
pushing
is the straight flag?
identity
Where's the
onto
straight
me?
flag?
Everywhere.
Where's my straight flag?
It's everywhere.
It's never been a straight flag.
You're a straight flag.
Piers Morgan appears fed up with the LGBTQ community receiving constant media coverage while still demanding more. In this next well-known interview, Piers made headlines by sarcastically revealing a new gender identity, a first in his media history, taking a direct jab at identity politics.
Why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was.
I'm serious. I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I on International Women's Day say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
Looking back at what pushed Piers Morgan to declare himself a black lesbian, it all started with his woke guest offering a logic so absurd, it immediately clashed with Piers's patience and set the tone for the rest of the interview.
Piers Morgan.
It's not an easy thing to do to go out into
Actually,
the world.
it's
very easy.
Incredibly easy.
You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say
What
this
does
is
doing
who,
it involve?
whatever that person decides.
Apparently, Piers took away from woke ideology the idea that just because it's hard to define what's unusual, it somehow makes it acceptable to choose any identity, anytime, from the endless list of over 100 genders.
Is it limitless, this self-identity?
It's not totally limitless.
What's the
but
limit?
when you're talking about International Women's Day, I don't know why we take the conversation around International Women's Day and make it about this.
Piers also highlighted the serious danger of men identifying as women, particularly when they exploit this for personal gain, like getting transferred to female prisons by manipulating the justice system.
We've literally just seen a male rapist use that scam to get himself put into a female prison where he could attack vulnerable women inside a female prison, when even his ex-wife said it was all a scam.
His argument didn't faze the woke activist, so Piers flipped the script, going on a full rampage, identifying as a black lesbian. The sudden shift completely threw his guest off balance, as Piers mocked the logic with blunt sarcasm and over-the-top self-expression.
My response was to say, well, if it's limitless, why can't I then say whatever I want to say? And you say immediately, as I knew you would, well, that's ridiculous. But my point is, you were being ridiculous. How many genders are there?
2.
There are 2 genders.
Oh.
Wow, so you don't believe in transgenders at all?
Well, I think there are.
Whoa, hang on, whoa.
After completely dismantling his woke guest, Piers Morgan took it a step further, revealing a new gender identity from the BBC's list of over 100. What he identified as next was so outrageous, it left everyone stunned.
But it is difficult, but I think making...
But it's not difficult until you make it difficult. You see, the BBC has done teaching videos to 11 and 12-year-olds where they say there are 100 genders. One of them was astrogender, which is an affinity with the stars and the galaxy. My response to that on the last show I did was to say, well, in that case, I identify as a two-spirit penguin. I was then told I was being ridiculous, but I made the same point. The ridiculousness is the BBC teaching kids there are 100 genders. There aren't.
Next up, Piers Morgan boldly stood up for J.K. Rowling, who had become a target of the trans mob over rumors that her new book was allegedly transphobic, leading to death threats and a full-blown online cancellation campaign.
Which goes into great detail, which means that actually all the premise for why she has to be RIP'd is actually based on a complete load of nonsense.
Piers took the issue seriously, partly because he's a fan of J.K. Rowling, and partly because he's faced cancel culture himself. Clearly, he's had enough of what he sees as bullying and intimidation from the woke mob.
And all those who have been contributing to the RIP J.K. Rowling, they're the ones that want her dead, cancelled, shamed, vilified, finished for writing a novel that none of you have read.
Piers Morgan was especially outraged by the death threats aimed at J.K. Rowling. During the interview, he repeatedly referenced Nick Cowan's review of the book and highlighted the irony that even the guests defending the trans activists hadn't taken the time to read it.
And neither have you, so you can't be sure of that.
I've read a very lengthy review here which completely repudiates the whole point of your position. Let me bring in George Galloway. George, this is the problem here, isn't it? This cancel culture.
Piers has always met his woke guests head-on, but in this next interview with a vocal advocate of plant-based diets and veganism, he revealed a surprisingly petty side that few expected from him.
I don't like vegans very much. I don't think any of you look very healthy.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, I think you all look pretty pasty-faced and unhealthy to me, but that's your choice.
Piers opened the interview with zero filter, absolutely eviscerating veganism as just another performative outrage from the woke industrial complex, a movement he's long mocked and refuses to indulge. He didn't mince words. To him, vegan activism isn't about ethics or health. It's virtue-signaling extremism wrapped in moral superiority. His contempt for the whole ecosystem of woke-driven protests, self-righteous, disruptive, and detached from reality, was on full display in this clip. No apologies, no concessions, just a raw, unapologetic takedown of a culture he sees as more interested in silencing others than saving animals.
Right, wouldn't you? You'll go nuts if I came running into your little vegan hellholes and began screaming abuse. You'd all throw your toys out the pram, as you do on a daily basis.
I'm about to throw my toys out the pram right now, Piers.
Throughout the interview, Piers Morgan didn't just challenge his vegan guest. He leaned into the role of provocateur with clear intent, needling with smirk-laced questions and theatrical disbelief, as if determined to rile them at every turn. But what started as calculated antagonism quickly escalated. Piers wasn't just poking holes. He was setting traps. And as the conversation unfolded, it became chillingly clear. He had been laying the groundwork for something far more devastating. The gloves were off, the tone sharpened, and with cold precision, he unleashed the full arsenal of his rhetorical arsenal, exposing contradictions, weaponizing hypocrisy, and dismantling the guest's position with a blend of research, mockery, and unrelenting pressure. What looked like mere annoyance was, in fact, a masterclass in controlled demolition.
Slaves.
What does it achieve? None of you make me want to change my mind. I just think, what annoying little squits. Honestly, I do. It's the same when you're chucking paint at Van Gogh paintings. It's the same when you're tying yourself to fuel pumps or hanging yourself on bridges and stopping people using Dartford Tunnel. It's all the same.
Piers continued sharing his views, leaving the vegan advocate speechless. Just when everyone thought he was finished dismantling the woke ideology, he unveiled the biggest weapon in his arsenal right at the end of the interview.
Won't need any of this gruel. Let's put that
Fantastic.
to one side, but I will have a bit of steak just to...
You didn't salt it, though.
You see, all you've achieved is you've made me want to do this. Just eat a
That's
lovely...
absolutely fine.
Piers had pulled this stunt several times before. In another fiery interview with a vegan activist, he went out of his way to provoke and infuriate the advocate, making sure every move hit a nerve.
How does that persuade me, who already likes eating meat? Why are you going to persuade me by being a vandal? Don't get it.
Yeah, I think we're in an incredibly difficult position at the moment because we've been...
Why are you making it any easier?
As usual, he began with pointed questions, pressing his vegan guest on why the group resorts to vandalism and property damage to make their case. When that line of questioning didn't shake them, Piers went full throttle, unleashing the fiery, unapologetic style he's become infamous for.
It's total hypocrisy, isn't it? You don't care about bees being
Will you
murdered.
let me speak, Piers? Please?
Huh?
Will you let me speak? I'd really
Why are
like
you
to
laughing?
respond.
It's not funny.
I'd like to respond.
Bees getting slaughtered and you giggling away like it doesn't matter whilst destroying buildings because you care so much about animals.
Piers' blatant disregard for the unwritten rules of television doesn't just make him controversial, it makes him a calculated wrecking ball. He doesn't shy away from the label of menace. He wears it like armor, especially when facing what he sees as the suffocating orthodoxy of woke culture. This is the persona he's cultivated, the unapologetic truth-teller in a world of performative sensitivity, The guy who'll say what others are too afraid to whisper. And yes, it's gotten him canceled, disinvited, denounced, disowned by the mainstream. But if the backlash is the price, he considers it a badge of honor. Then, in one final defiant act of televised rebellion, Piers caps off the interview by pulling out a greasy, dripping Big Mac, a symbol of everything his vegan guest stands against, and takes a loud, deliberate bite right in front of them. No subtlety, no respect for the sanctity of the guest's beliefs. Just a visceral, almost theatrical middle finger to ideological purity. It's not just disrespect, it's weaponized disrespect. And for Piers Morgan, that's the whole point.
And my response to you destroying all these things is to have a Big Mac. Because you know what? It's a free country, it's a democracy, and I'm allowed to eat meat, and I'm certainly allowed to eat meat when someone who kills bees to feed their avocado habit, mine.
Finally, there's the interview where Piers Morgan launched into a full-blown tirade against woke ideology, zeroing in on the hot-button issue of trans athletes in women's sports. For Piers, this isn't just controversial. It's deeply unfair. He argued that allowing biologically male athletes to compete against women undermines the integrity of the sport, giving trans women a physical advantage and leading to records that real female athletes may never be able to break.
Floyd Mayweather compete as a boxer in the women's American boxing team.
Yeah,
You
of
are a
course you have to be
complete
like the
and utter
heavyweight.
lunatic.
I completely agree
Lunacy.
I agree with Francesca, and I'd go
They
further.
would
Actually,
have
Piers,
to
you always
transition.
Morgan's fiery takedown of his trans activist guests was so ruthless, it became a landmark moment in the backlash against woke culture. Throughout the interview, Piers didn't pull a single punch, unapologetically hammering the trans mob with his unfiltered stance and refusing to bend under pressure.
The idea you would let Usain Bolt say, I'm a woman, and compete against women on a racetrack when no man can compete with him, right?
Piers's sharp and often hilarious expressions during the interview revealed just how fed up he is with woke culture. He didn't mince words, especially when addressing the issue of women choosing to be homemakers, making it crystal clear that personal choice shouldn't be demonized by ideological extremes.
There are many women who sit at home, by the way, doing a much harder job than anyone sitting here.
Because
right?
he has a responsibility.
Sitting at home, bringing up children is a hard job.
Very.
So why do we denigrate it by saying that's all you're going to do? Why can't you say that?
Piers Morgan has long been a vocal critic of woke culture. His commentary, often blunt and laced with humor, has sparked debate across nearly every aspect of the cultural shift. From gender identity to free speech, Morgan's stance has remained unwavering. One issue he continues to hammer home is the participation of trans athletes in women's sports. Morgan argues that allowing biological males to compete against women undermines fairness in competition, an opinion that has won him both applause and fierce criticism. So what's your take? Is Piers right to challenge the extremes of woke culture, or is the movement an essential step toward greater equality? Has it gone too far, or is it reshaping society for the better? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more bold conversations on woke culture's impact today.